Hey everyone, and welcome back or welcome to the channel. Earlier in the year we had checked out the Subaru Outback Premium, and a number of you have been asking me to come back and feature the Limited, because with the Limited, without the XT badge, you are going to receive a vehicle that is a bit more luxurious, and also, in my opinion, for a vehicle under $40,000, is very well equipped and feels really high quality for the price. And in today's quick video, we're going to check out what differentiates the Limited from the Onyx Edition and Premium, and see why, if you are on a budget at around $40,000, maybe taking a look at the Outback Limited might be a great decision. Now, before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout and thank you to Subaru of Wakefield in Wakefield, Massachusetts, for letting me come down here to check out the Subaru Outback Limited. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Subaru inventory. It all begins with pricing for the Limited. So for 2025, you're looking at a starting cost of just under $38,000. Now, a number of you are going to say, well, with the Premium, even with optional package 15, I'm paying just below 35 grand. So why should I go with a Limited for an additional $3,000 to $4,000? Well, what you see here is pretty much what you get. There's not a lot of optional accessories for this trim, and everything does come standard, and I think you're going to like the creature comforts more than what you're going to find on the outside, because for the exterior, nothing is new here. So same steering responsive LED headlights and LED fog lights, and of course, same grille design and plastic cladding. But as you make your way over to the side profile, that's where things begin to change, because you are going to have 18-inch alloy wheels, whereas with the Premium, you get 17s. And I know some of you who are very picky about that, saying, well, I want the optimal amount of comfort, I want a vehicle that is family friendly and soft with the suspension. But with the Outback, especially for trims that don't have the Wilderness badge, they all ride really well. I do think, though, that with the 18s, there is going to be a slight difference, as we're going to find out later on in this video when we take it out for a quick test drive. But I think for a lot of you, it's still going to be more than adequate in regards to daily travel and when you are commuting to work. For the side mirror caps, they are going to be in gloss black, which is a nice color contrast on this model today. You are going to have turn signal indicators, and better yet, with the Limited, unlike with the Premium, you are going to get blind spot detection and rear cross traffic alert as standard equipment. These mirrors are power adjustable, they are folding, and also heated. Then as you make your way around to the back, nothing different here at all for the Limited, unless you are comparing it to the Onyx Edition, which has grayed out badging. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't want a lower profile appearance for your vehicle, you don't want the black wheels, going with the Limited is a nice classy option with the chrome badging and just the more traditional Outback appearance. You're going to notice that both for the front and rear fascias, there is a nice color contrasting accent for the lower portion of the bumpers that I think goes really well with the plastic cladding. Stepping inside the Outback Limited, initially, outside the leather upholstery for these seats, nothing seems too different compared to other trims in the lineup, more specifically the Premium and Onyx Edition, because Subaru keeps things very simple with their technology. You don't have the option to go with the full digital gauge cluster, and outside of the base trim, you get the 11.6-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. But the Limited does usher in some features that is going to be seen on higher trims in the lineup, and if you are somebody looking for a luxurious experience, this would be the trim to go with under $40,000. So starting off with these seats, they are power adjustable and heated, with the driver's side having 2-position memory for added convenience, and that will go hand in hand with your outside mirror positioning. When you hear those two features with the Subaru, that means you have the driver monitoring system. So with the driver monitoring system, it will notify you if you aren't paying attention. So say you're looking at your phone or you're just being distracted, the car will notify you to pay attention to the road ahead of you. But it goes even deeper than that, because with this driver monitoring system, it will memorize up to 5 drivers for the Outback. So it will memorize your seat positioning and outside mirror positioning. So that way it just adds a lot more convenience to the overall driving experience and ownership experience with this vehicle if you have more than one driver in the family. Now, the great thing about this driver monitoring system is that, yes, it is a facial recognition software, so all you would need to do is just look straight ahead of you, and then it will program in your seat positioning and everything else. But you can turn this off, so it's not constantly on like the eyesight driver assist technology. And this ultimately is the top feature for the Limited trim in regards to tech, because you are going to have the traffic sign recognition for your information display that we see in the Premium, and when it pertains to the infotainment system, you will have onboard onboard navigation, which is also available with the Premium through optional package 15. Everything else is pretty much the same. You can get a wireless phone charging pad. You also have an auto-dimming rear view mirror, which I definitely love to have in a vehicle like this, but also my WRX gets it, and it's a game changer late at night. In regards to the rest of the interior, though, you're still going to have the buttons on the left side of the steering wheel, which will control the information display in between your analog gauges. And from here, you can scroll through a variety of information, such as your fuel economy statistics, outside weather, time, and also your digital speedometer and tire pressure monitoring system. On the right side of the steering wheel will be your adaptive cruise control settings and lane centering. But one comfort feature that you're not going to find in other trims beneath the Limited is your heated leather wrap steering wheel, which that makes a huge difference if you do live in a colder area in the US. Then quickly taking a look at the infotainment system, you will have 11.6-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. On both sides of the screen will be your volume and tuning knobs, your front and rear defrosters, and then your dual zone climate control. So dual zone climate control does come standard in this vehicle. As briefly stated when we checked out the exterior, you are going to have a rear backup camera with trajectory to go along with rear cross traffic alert and reverse automatic braking. So that is all standard for the Limited. You don't need to worry about adding in some optional packages to receive these features. Also with the Limited, you will have X mode, so you can take on some snow and dirt covered roadways. Obviously higher up in the trim levels, such as with the Onyx Edition and the Wilderness, you'll get dual function X mode for better versatility. But with the Limited, this will likely be an on-road vehicle and just a great year-round daily driver. Then for the center console, you will find your gear selector that is flanked by gloss black trim. You'll find electronic parking brake, also 2 cup holders. Then for the center storage compartment, you have plenty of room for smaller items such as a couple smartphones, wallets, or other smaller gadgets. And then to round out the front seating area, above will be a power moonroof, which will bring in a lot of natural light to the interior. But if you are somebody who is considering the Premium, go with optional package 15 and you'll receive most of the features that we have here with the Limited today outside the driver monitoring system. And then briefly taking a look at the second row seating area, outside the leather upholstery, nothing is different here. Even with the power moonroof, there's plenty of headroom. Also, nothing changes in regards to interior dimensions. Your only difference here, and this is what makes the Limited a better family-friendly crossover than the Premium and Onyx Edition, is that you do get heated outboard seats. So if you do live in a colder climate, such as up here in New England, this would be a great feature to have. It'll keep everyone warm on those very cold and crisp mornings. And also, I think when it comes to just the creature comforts, that will go a long way, especially for a vehicle under $40,000 to start. Just like we saw in other trims, you will have 2 center-mounted air vents, a USB-C and USB-A input. And rounding out the second row seating area, you do get a center armrest with 2 cup holders. Then making our way around to the back with the Limited, you are going to receive a power liftgate. And just like with any other Outback in the lineup, you are going to receive 32.5 cubic feet of room. So nothing different here compared to the Premium or Onyx Edition. Now, as you can tell, you are going to get a rear cargo cover, which is not installed on our model today, but at least it's back here to showcase that to you guys. And better yet, with the Outback, you're going to have quick release levers here that will conveniently lower the second row seats. So that way, if you do have heavier items with you and you just want to store things quickly and conveniently, you can do that with the Outback. Then beneath the floor mat, you are going to find a spare tire, so if you encounter a flat on your road trips or travels, you can fix that and be back on the road. And lastly, with the Outback Limited, you have the choice between a 2.4-liter turbo or 2.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. Personally, I would go with the XT trim for the optimal amount of performance, and especially with the 2.4, I think it pairs up a lot better with the CVT. Although Subaru has done a fantastic job with this transmission, where it doesn't necessarily drone, there's no rubber band effect, and it does feel like a traditional automatic. With the Limited though, everything is all about the comfort and feeling more like a entry-level luxury crossover under $40,000 when you do go for the non-XT trim. And you feel that for the inside. Now, as I already talked about earlier on in this video, by going with the Limited over, say, a Premium, you're upgrading from the 17s to the 18s when it comes to the tire size. Now, the 18s do add a bit more firmness to the ride quality. There's a bit more stiffness. But I think even for a vehicle in this market, especially with the softer tune suspension, you're not going to be feeling too much of that on the road, when you are going over the bumps and imperfections. Also, when it comes to road noise, Subaru has done a fantastic job with their global platform by focusing on interior insulation. When you are driving in the city and suburbs, you don't really hear a lot of that outside world. Obviously, when you are on the highway, you are going to notice a bit more of that road noise and wind noise, but that's to be expected for a vehicle in this market and segment. Better yet, and I talked about this with the premium that we had featured about a month and a half ago, is that you do feel as though you're driving a lifted car more so than a traditional crossover. And that's the main difference between the Forester and Outback with the 2.5. The Forester does feel like a Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, Volkswagen Tiguan, whereas the Outback is kind of a unique vehicle in its market where it is a lifted station wagon in essence. So if you're looking for a car-like driving experience, you're going to love the Outback. But that's where I'd say go with the 2.4. In regards to the Limited though, by going with this trim, the leather seats are very comfortable and plush. They provide a lot more support and bolstering, although I did like the cloth in the premium. However, if you're looking for a luxurious experience, you're going to receive that here with the Outback Limited. Also, of course, you have a nice heated steering wheel as well, so during the winter, you're going to be nice and warm in this vehicle. But it's all about the interior quality and refinement by going a bit more upmarket on the pricing by choosing a vehicle at around $40,000. And you most certainly feel that. And Subaru has done a great job with their dashboard layouts by putting the soft touch materials on the dashboard and door panels. But as you're going to notice, if you do spend a lot of time on the dealership lot, you're checking out the premium, you're checking out the Limited, you're checking out the Touring, that each trim has more soft touch materials on the dashboard. So it's going to feel like a very upscale and luxurious experience in here, relatively speaking, for a vehicle at this price point. Now on this rotary here, let's check out the handling and cornering with the Limited. And because you don't have the SI drive modes with this trim, you can't go with sport or individual. And because of that, steering is rather light, but very direct. And also, throttle response is pretty smooth. Obviously, with the 8.7 inches of ground clearance and the fact you're not going to have a lower center of gravity, you are going to feel some body roll here, but it's not as noticeable as what you're going to find in, say, a Wilderness. With the Wilderness, you have about 0.8 of an inch higher ground clearance, and you'll be sacrificing the stability on the roadways for that off-road capability. And we can safely merge onto the highway. I will say though, when you do put your foot down on throttle, by not having the turbo, it's not going to be as responsive. But once you get into that mid-range, it does do quite well. You can pass over drivers with ease, you can lane change. So even with the 2.5, it's more than adequate in its segments, especially in this market against other naturally aspirated 4-cylinders. The only reason why, though, I would recommend going with the turbo is just having that better performance off the line when you are on the highway. It feels more spry and athletic. Whereas the 2.5, there are times where it does feel a bit lethargic, although by having a CVT that mimics an 8-speed automatic transmission, it takes away the sensation of feeling as though you're driving a very slow vehicle. But at highway speeds, road noise is not too bad at all. Pretty impressive if you ask me for a vehicle in this market. And that goes hand in hand with this suspension. And while I think from top to bottom, the Outback is a compelling choice from a value proposition standpoint, what you have here by choosing a Limited is something a bit more substantial. That yes, you have the same features you're going to find in the premium with the traffic sign recognition, also of course blind spot detection, rear cross traffic alert, the moonroof if you go with optional package 15. But at $37,000 to start, you're getting just a bit more for your money. And I do think when you are cross-shopping it with rivals in this segment, you are getting a very competent vehicle at the end of the day. And on top of all of that, you got super symmetrical all-wheel drive and the 8.7 inches of ground clearance. So it's versatile, it's practical, family-friendly, but also is somewhat upscale, which I think makes the Limited a great choice if you are somebody who is solely focused on buying an Outback for 2025. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick review for the 2025 Subaru Outback Limited. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Also, let me know in the comment section below what else you want to see from the Subaru lineup for the 2025 model year. But guys, once again, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.